Hi there, welcome to Arts at a Distance. I am Miss Noel. I am the Arts Education Consultant with Merced County Office of Education, and I am so excited to have you here on Fine Arts Friday to go through a little bit of a project, right? So there is a warm-up to this project, but it's not the warm-up that you think. The warm-up is just gathering our materials, and it's going to be a project that hopefully our grown-ups in our household will appreciate. The way that we are warming up is by cleaning out a kitchen cabinet and gathering some materials, okay? Before you touch the cabinet, there's a couple of things you need. One, you need glue. This can be Elmer's glue, it can be a glue stick, it can be any kind of adhesive. I would prefer not to use my handy dandy duct tape for this one because something that can be wet and then dry is gonna look a lot better. So I have a tacky glue here with me. It is my favorite. It is very, very tacky and dries very stiffly, right, and keeps its adhesive quality, but also dries clear, goes on white, dries clear. We love that. So I've got the tacky glue here, and then you're gonna need some kind of base to work on. Now I've grabbed in the past styrofoam for projects like this, or just random paper, either white copy paper or construction paper will work just fine. I like this because it's got a little bit of stiffness. All this is a standard manila folder. I grabbed it out of my box of supplies for kids, and I'm gonna be using this as the base for my project. So we definitely need something as a base and some kind of adhesive. Then what you get to do is you get to just go clean out a cabinet. Now, if you're anything like me, you have numerous things in your cabinet that have been there for far too long, that you no longer need, that you're not going to eat because they are far past their expiration date. So I've grabbed a couple of things here. First and foremost, I have like a quarter of a bag of stale Cheerios. There's no expiration date on this bag because I took it out of the box, but I can roughly say that's been there for plenty of time, and we are no longer going to eat these stale Cheerios. After that, I've got some Target brand Market Pantry popcorn, which also passed its expiration date in, let's see, 2015. Excellent, this is perfect for this project. As well as some regular spaghetti. This spaghetti is, I think, also from 2015. Apparently we're not good at eating all of our spaghetti. So this is what I am gonna be using for my project. And what we're gonna work on today is patterns and shapes, right? I've got a couple of different things represented here that I love. One is, of course, the line. What the spaghetti allows me to do is have a nice textured line that can be relatively long or relatively short, right? I can make it into a whole bunch of different sizes, which is gonna be fun when it comes to our actual pattern that we're creating here. After that, I have a standard, what I would call point or dot, and that is what the popcorn allows me to have. Because it doesn't have a way to adjust its size easily, it allows me to form just any kind of dot that I want to use, any kind of point. I can add multiple of them in a row to create a line or a shape, but in and of itself, it is just a point, and I love that here. You're gonna hear all of that coming down on the table in front of me. After that, when we deal with the Cheerios, here, I'm gonna put those down on the table too. The Cheerios, because they are the way they are, there's actually a hole in the middle of them, right? So that allows me to create some interesting shapes along with them. It is the nexus of a circle, just the center not being there allows me to either, I could thread it with spaghetti if I would like, or I could stack them to create something coming up a little higher, or I could leave it alone and let it just exist the way that it is. There's plenty of different options. So once you've got your materials there with you, and please do ask your grown-ups if it's okay for you to gather some of these things. I definitely don't encourage you to use things that are still edible or that your family is planning on using. If your grown-up is anything like me, I've got what's in my pantry organized so that I know what I'm gonna cook for dinner for the rest of the week. I know what we're gonna be using for lunches and breakfasts. And so definitely make sure you're not eating into your grown-up stash of food that they're actually gonna use. But there's always something tucked in a cabinet that needs to be reorganized, something like that. And we should definitely use those if humanly possible, right? Maybe your grown-up will even be happy that you felt like you were able to help out the household and pull out that stuff out of that cabinet. So here's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start with my tacky glue, and I'm gonna start by just making a pattern. I'm going to, let's see, I'm gonna start with some like a squiggly line with glue. As soon as it works, there we go. Sometimes it works better than others. Here we go. It's probably a good idea to have a towel of some kind with you as well. And if you have a piece of spaghetti like I do, it's nice to be able to stick into a bottle of glue to help the process. They're much better. We are problem solvers, you guys. Yes, we are. So once you've got a little bit of a line there, as you can see, I just drew a squiggly line with my glue. And now I'm gonna start by, on the parts that are particularly thick, I'm gonna start by placing popcorn on that line of glue. Like I said, it is white in the beginning, but then it dries clear. And that's what we like. We want to see popcorn that's just sticking on the paper or the base, and that is almost like magic. We want to not even see the glue, right? So I'm going to stick a couple of pieces of popcorn, but then I'm going to move on to some Cheerios, because I like to break things up. So first my line of popcorn, and then my line of Cheerios, or my curve of Cheerios, I should say. In just a moment, when I'm done sticking these on, I will hold them up so you guys can see what I've done so far. And then we're gonna add on some spaghetti. So I am pressing these down into the glue just to make sure they have a good base. And there we go. It's almost like an S, as you can see. So now, obviously, I have a little bit of glue still left on the side here. And what I'm gonna do is break up this spaghetti into some smaller pieces. And on this line of glue, I'm just gonna make kind of some stripes, almost like railroad tracks, leading away from where the Cheerios are placed. Now, these are not equal, and I'm not doing them in any particular order by size. I'm just laying them out because I want to see what it looks like. That's the cool thing about experimenting with art in this way, is that we can really very much experiment, right? So now I've got some lines of spaghetti, some Cheerios, and some popcorn there. How fun. Now that's kind of like just showcasing the basics of what we can do. Now I'm gonna make a whole different pattern where my first piece of material, my first popcorn, leads off. I'm going to make a whole different pattern with my glue. It may need another problem solver here. I'm so glad I have this spaghetti. I would totally recommend making sure you have some kind of pasta or spaghetti, because that will be very important to make sure the glue can come out. Then the next pattern I'm gonna make is actually less of a pattern and more of a shape. I'm going to make a nice big circle. There we go, that spaghetti got stuck in there. I'm gonna make a nice big circle with my glue. Awesome! What a cool thing. So now I really liked how the spaghetti looked when it's in its kind of railroad tracks pattern like that. So I'm gonna do a bunch more of that. I'm glad I experimented with that because I really like the way that it looks. So I'm gonna break more spaghetti up and we're gonna do more of those railroad tracks. What this is gonna end up being is looking a little bit like a necklace. So in between these railroad tracks of spaghetti, I am going to place 1 or 2 either Cheerios or popcorn kernels, depending on how much will fit. So if you'll notice, what I did was I experimented first with the first pattern or the first bit of glue, and now I have realized what it is I like, and I am going to build a pattern based on that first experimentation. Art most definitely is not about doing things perfectly. I know we have a lot of exposure to master artists who have spent a lot of time on their craft, and I fully encourage you to spend a lot of time on a craft that you feel called to. However, that does not mean in any way that your piece of art, which is an experiment, is not good or is not valid. The point of art is not to be perfect. The point of art is to try things and express yourself in a way that you did not know you were capable of expressing yourself before. So no part of me will ever look at your kitchen cabinet experiment and tell you that it is not good. On the contrary, I would love to see pictures of your kitchen cabinet experiment and tell you what an awesome, awesome job you have been doing on your artistic endeavors. In fact, while I finish this a little bit, let me give you guys some information. You can learn all about this process as well as others at mcoe.org/distance learning. That particular website is a portal to all kinds of really great distance learning resources. We have all kinds of different content areas. I'm still making a pattern here. We have all kinds of different content areas. You can look up info for English and language arts. You can look up math information. You can look up history and social studies. You can look up science, and you can look up stuff like social emotional learning resources, which if you're not feeling good right now, you're not alone. You are not the only person who is not feeling normal right now or the way they normally feel. So it could be a really good thing to gather some of those resources. And you'll also find a link to the arts. And in the arts, you'll find all kinds of different disciplines like music, like dance, like theater, like media art, and just like what we're doing here, like fine art. And all of those disciplines have different resources underneath them. And you can use those resources to go to websites or download lesson plans or any number of things. They're not just local resources, they are resources from all over the country and sometimes the world, with different cultures represented, different genres and media represented. It is a really, really cool resource, and it's changing all the time. So I fully encourage you to go look and see what is there. And if there's something that you don't see there that you would like to see there, please, please, please go ahead and email me at nchandler@mcoe.org, or you can visit the website and contact me through there as well. That will have my information too. So if you want to see what I've created now, is that super fun pattern based on the amount of space that I was able to make between my railroad tracks with my spaghetti. I put either 2 or 3 popcorn pieces, and I put either 1 or 2 Cheerios. So I was exercising my spatial reasoning and making creative decisions all on the fly while I worked on a fun piece of art that is not what I expected it to be, but honestly, I think is really cool. I'm gonna go put this on my fridge, okay? This is gonna be really fun. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for cleaning out your kitchen cabinet. Thank you for being with us on this lovely Friday morning. This has been Noelle Chandler for MCOE. There's only 3 things that I ask you to do. Are you ready? Be safe, stay happy, and make art. Bye.